Nobody likes to talk about themselves. Okay, I think I know a few people that might, but in general, if you're a physician mom of three like me, I really don't like talking about myself. It feels unnatural. It feels like I need to have a beginning, a middle, and end of my story, and that I know exactly the character arc. And that's just not how life is. And yet, all throughout human life, we are asked to stand up in front of the class, tell us your name. What'd you bring for show and tell? Or in medical school, stand up, tell us where you're from. What's your favorite hobby? And it goes on and on. And if you're a functional or integrative practitioner running a solo practice, that's even more important. And it's not just on day one of your services. The art of reintroducing yourself is very important as your services evolve, as you evolve as a practitioner. And I believe when we're all allowed to step into our highest creative power and build a practice around our life, we should always keep evolving and getting more excited about the healing modalities that we use. So naturally, reintroducing yourself is important. In this episode, I'll talk about exactly what that means, how you can cultivate and craft an ideal reintroduction to your audience, your patients, your community. And then at the end, stick around because you can copy my Mad Libs transcript, this 90-second bio that you can fill in the blanks and easily reintroduce yourself to your audience and patients. So let's dig in and color outside the lines together. Welcome to The Catalyst Way, the podcast for women clinicians ready to clear the chaos and create space to flourish. I'm Dr. Lara Salyer, a former burned out family practice doctor turned mentor, author, and professional calendar whisperer. I help women in medicine reclaim time, trust their intuition, and build practices that actually fit their lives. Each week, you'll get practical tools, creative strategies, and tiny shifts that help you color outside the lines and paint a work-life masterpiece of authentic, aligned joy. So let me reintroduce myself. My name is Humpty, pronounced with an umpty. No, I'm kidding. Okay, this story is all about change. I mean, isn't that what we're here for? Many of the catalysts that I have the honor of working with are changing. They're transforming. They've decided their current services are just not what they would like, so they want to evolve. Maybe they're leaving an employed position or they're changing their business model in their own solo practice. But whatever it is, it's all about inviting this opportunity with excitement, not trepidation. And I was inspired to talk about reintroducing myself for many reasons. For those that are listening, I've had a huge transformation over the last few years, but also this is a greater exercise for all of us to not be so scared about talking about ourselves. You can do this without sounding braggy or egotistical. You can do this that matches your authenticity and showcases your passion and curiosity and excitement to work with people. And I reflected on this because my lease in my office downtown in my small town in Monroe, Wisconsin, is up in December. And all of you that have seen me on social media or the old podcast studio, this is a beautiful historic piece in our downtown, very Norman Rockwell. And I greatly loved the walls of this office. And it's been a grieving process to slowly dismantle some of the favorite features I had hanging, my artwork, furniture, and most importantly, and recently, the inspiration for this episode, which is the iconic sign that I had handmade hanging proudly in the front waiting room. So when I first started my business 8.5 years ago, I had to choose a name for this functional medicine practice in Monroe, and nobody knew what functional medicine was in Greene County. So I felt like the best way to describe it is that health is innate in all of us. It is there to be reawakened. It's there to be connected with. It's there to be fueled and nourished and fortified. So I picked health innate really quickly. I just needed something for IRS and for the business papers and the articles of incorporation. And it was fine. Good enough. And I moved forward. And I learned quickly that startup costs are great. My office needed furniture. My office needed paint. It needed all sorts of things to make it work in addition to technologies. And so all these things were adding up. And yet I coveted a different business had a beautiful metal sign that had their logo and their name on it. And it was almost industrial looking, somewhat rusty. I thought it was amazing. And I asked them, where did you get your sign made? I want that for my office. They gave me the person's name and I contacted them, and it's beautiful work and it deserves to be paid at its value, but it was out of my budget. So being the scrappy young entrepreneur I was at the time, I looked at how could I make this? I made this sign all out of products you could buy at a local store. It was home insulation, thick 2 or 3 inch home insulation that I pasted moss, green moss. And then on top of that, I had poster board, foam board that I used painting techniques to make it look like it was metal. I researched Pinterest tips and tricks, and then I cut out the insignia of my logo and my business name. And it looked real from afar. I mean, every patient that walked in, I showed them, yeah, this is really not metal. It's kind of fun to look at. And it looked good enough. It was convincing. It was my pride and joy. It made me feel like I had really arrived. This is who I am, health innate. And so as I was taking this down from my office, I felt like I needed to honor it and thank it for being there all these years, holding vigil in this waiting room that housed so many patients and activities and group workshops and open house expos and my dreams. This was a great cocoon and also a birthing place for my next evolutions of myself. I'm sure you could think of similar pivotal moments when a piece of clothing or a tactile object signified way more than that object itself. Maybe it signified a shift in your perspective, maybe a person you no longer wanted to be, or a service you wanted to bring into fruition. And that's what this meant for me. So as I took this down, I realized, maybe it's time to reintroduce myself. I wonder how long that's been. It led me down this road of looking at all the ways I show up on social media, on my website. I realized, it's time to stand up in front of the class again. And I need to be clear. I need to be more aligned with who I am now. Because as I looked at my website, it had gotten pretty outdated. And that's not a bad thing. That shows evolution, that shows growth. And that's something we all need to plan for. The biggest mistake I think that I made and that most entrepreneurs make is in the beginning, we are trying to set things up for sustainability and perfection. We want to get the website just perfect. We haggle back and forth with our website developers, or we want to get our social media just perfect so we don't even post. And we're really scared to just own that landscape, that real estate of public domain. We don't want to say the wrong thing. We don't know exactly how we want to come across. So we basically have a very watered down version of ourselves that's generic, void of personality, and then we move on because we got it done. But what we need to realize, and what I'm asking all of you to realize, is this should be a yearly endeavor. Yes, put something down when you're first starting, but then set a timer in your calendar. I like to use Google Tasks. It will pop up a year later. It'll say, please review your website. And I've been doing that ever since, with the exception of the last 2 years, because my life has been changing in all sorts of ways, being the sandwich generation, caring for my parents, my kids. And I snoozed that task and I didn't look until recently. And I realized, oh my goodness, it is so necessary. So here's your first call to action. Put a timer and a reminder that you check your website, your public social media accounts, and just make sure you're checking for resonance. Do those words still fit you? I love words, but they do shift. And my words have been shifting from a very action-focused, goal-oriented, almost hyper-productivity-oriented choices to now more of goal-oriented with trust, with intuition guiding, with the ability to be self-expressive and trust that it will be okay. Like, it's a very interesting and subtle shift. And only I notice this. And the more I can adjust, it will attract the patients that want to work with me, the mentees that feel called into my Catalyst studio, and it never leads you astray. So that's your first call to action. Look at your website and look at your niche. Look at how you describe and talk to your patients. Look at your social media. Are there things that you would like to take down? Because it's a river. Maybe you had posted something last year or a few years ago, and now you really don't really feel the same. Medical literature changes our minds. The practice of medicine evolves. So look and make sure there aren't any outdated modalities or thoughts that you once hold that no longer seem appropriate or have been refuted. And it's okay to change your mind. This is the beauty of this garden of an online appearance. It is a garden. So you need to pull out those weeds. You need to make sure that this landscape is exactly reflecting the vibe that you would like. And is it your voice? Or is it just generic copy that has a lot of overused words like vitality and optimize and longevity? Those are great, but that's really redundant. What speaks to you? How are you unique? And if you feel like you have a hard time knowing this about yourself, you can use AI tools to ask you questions. That's what I love about ChatGPT. Tell it to act like an expert copywriter and interview you so that you can be more present in your brand and create this brand voice, and it will give you those interview questions, and you can have more clarity and you can work with it. Of course, if you want top-notch clarity, a good copywriter is an amazing asset if you're looking to land that homepage. So here are some things to look at. And this is what I do when I'm looking down from top to bottom in my website. Above the fold, what do I have as the image at first? Is it an updated image? Is it high resolution? Does it even work? I can't even tell you how many times I've had practitioners fret because they looked at their website and things were broken and they had no idea how long they were broken. So this is why you reflect on it often, maybe even more than once a year. But do you like your image? Is it apparent? Do you like the tagline that's above the fold? Now, the fold is like an old term of like a newspaper fold, right? But it's the first thing you see on your website so you don't scroll. Is there a good tagline that resonates, that calls in that person that wants to work with you, right? That kind of talks about their pain point, but also pivots you as a solution? And then is there a call to action above the fold? There should be a button that allows them to make a choice right away, right? And then as you scroll down, is the color, the imagery still feeling fresh to you? Do you have a very clear and emotionally resonant pitch that explains a little bit about what patients are feeling and how you can offer that solution? It feels warm, it feels accurate, it feels enthusiastic, it feels supportive. People want to work with practitioners that have that sense of safety and trust, that they have it figured out and that they will be there. What I don't like saying is guarantees or fixes or cures. Any of those words should not appear in any medical site, in my opinion, or any coaching site, even my mentorship. I'm not going to say I will fix all of your woes. I will have a clear step A through Z path that if you follow it, you're going to be fine, because no two people are the same. And I absolutely uphold the fact that we all just need to trust that whoever we partner with will be there and support them. And that's what I do. I give the framework for my catalyst to create the work-life masterpiece of their dreams. And we pull from modalities that I've learned over the years, as well as other practitioners. So it's this beautiful magic cauldron of awesome sauce that helps them understand themselves better and then gives them the breadcrumbs to make everything happen, whether it's changing their business model or their social media or whatever it is, group visits. But really, it's about trusting that you're working with somebody who knows what they're doing. And that's how patients need to view you, that you're not promising the stars, the sun and the skies, but that you have exactly the skills, the knowledge, the humility, and the enthusiasm to hold their hand and guide them through this process. Also, simplicity. Now, this is where I tend to deviate. I am a word vomiter. I love talking. I'm also a recovering perfectionist. So it's a dangerous task for me to look at my website because I can find a million things that I would want to change. But here's the rule of having one good BM a day, one good bare minimum. Give yourself a timer and just high level say, what would I change? And keep it as simple as possible. So I try to say, can I say this in less words? And that is hard for me. So I have to set timers for myself. Otherwise, I could work on my website for days. And really having this ability to communicate myself well in simple words is tough. So I do use other people, outsource that, right? Have a good copywriter or an assistant or somebody who is in that world that you're looking to improve. Maybe it's a social media person. It could be a virtual assistant that is very good with the current modern trends. You don't have to have the highest paid expert to have a good, decent, bare minimum website or social media presence. The last thing I like to have on my website page is testimonials or social proof. And again, if you're just starting off, it's okay to have none. But the minute you ask, which you should be, you can check my past episodes, go on my website and just type in like feedback or metrics in my podcast website page, and it'll come up with those episodes. You should be asking every patient for feedback. And even if it's anonymous, you can put that as a testimonial. And you can save those like gold for those bad days when it feels like you're not doing anything. You really are making excellent change. Quick pause. If you're loving this podcast and secretly dreaming about building a functional or integrative practice that doesn't burn you out, you're my person. Catalyst Studio is the 12-month mentorship for women clinicians who want to build or scale a membership style practice. We mix practical business strategy with creativity and flow so that you can build a thriving practice that actually fits your life. Come join us. It is the mentorship I wish I had had. You'll find all the information at drlarasalyer.com/catalyst. I took this question into my Catalyst Studio last week, and we always start our Masterminds with one prompt. It opens up the discussion. It kind of greases our wheels of our brain, gets us laughing and engaging. And oftentimes, as things happen when you trust the unfolding, the conversation always expands and is supportive and helps everybody in the room. It's really magical to watch this happen. And I've grown a lot over the years as a mentor. I used to be white knuckled. I would have an agenda. I would have all the things I needed to teach and bestow inside these masterminds. I didn't really trust the collective energy that shows up. I really worried that they needed to maximize these weekly Friday masterminds, not knowing and not trusting that I already had this curriculum that they could pull from. I worried about letting go of the reins of this room. So as I learned more about how to be an effective facilitator, I took more classes, read more books, and really honed my own skills. It's been really fun to see that all I do is create one prompt. We open up the discussion and we let it breathe. And it always ends up good, always. So the prompt last week was, when was the last time you reintroduced yourself, either on your website or social media? And the discussion was great because so many of us came forward. One person said, oh my gosh, I think it's been 2 years. I haven't even said anything. And that got us to think how our audience continues to grow in social media or your patient list, your email list. And if you're not reintroducing yourself because you're assuming everyone remembers who you are, you're missing out. People aren't updated. They don't have the latest iOS software downloaded on who you've become. And it doesn't need to feel salesy, slimy, or egotistical. It can be with enthusiasm. A quick update of, oh my gosh, this is who I am. It's been a while. Let me say hi. Other people came forward and shared. It makes them feel uncomfortable. They don't like talking about themselves at all. It's very similar to that mindset of, I don't like talking about money with patients, which we also address in other podcast episodes. Look on my podcast page of my website and search for money mindset, financial. And this is a very important thing as an entrepreneur, to be comfortable with these uncomfortable topics. Talking about yourself should feel like you're giving a person a chance to understand who you are, but you're giving them this line of communication. That's all you're doing. If you talk about yourself in that way without this energy of pulling them into your world, of trying to convince them of who you are and how awesome your services are and how they're the best, that's a different energy. But if you're talking about yourself, just imagining like a little 5-year-old in that kindergarten class and you want to show and tell, get that show and tell energy out and center, that you're excited to meet that other human. Hey, I'm good. I'm so glad to meet you. And this is what I'm about. And let them dig in their pockets and go, oh, me too. Look at what I want to show and tell. That's really what this energy should be. And if you perseverate over the right thing, the wrong thing, how do I say it? What shouldn't I say? You can get yourself in a jumble. So think about how this energy can show up in a fun way. All right. So we went through kind of the website, how often I like every year, social media a little more frequently, and I've been neglectful. So all of us in the studio time, the conversation lasted a good 40 minutes just on this topic alone. People then shared some of their favorite words, how their websites all looked different, but yet how they wanted to change the ideal flow. We got a lot of exchanging of connections, previously vetted companies and businesses that have helped each other, and the cost. We talk about everything in our studio time. So you really feel this support and more confidence in making any decisions in your business. But all that aside, I want to help you, dear Catalyst, as you're listening. If you're feeling kind of paralyzed, well, how do I introduce myself? I'm about to read you a Mad Lib that I have inside my curriculum. So you're getting content from inside my very own Catalyst Studio curriculum that helps my Catalysts. And this is a 90-second bio that you can use. Now, obviously, I can't give you the piece of paper that it's on, but you can listen to this and you can write down the Mad Lib. The blanks I'm going to fill in with my own story, but you could easily play this back and fill in your own blanks. And it can be repurposed, reused, and reimagined every 6 months, every 12 months. It's a great opportunity for you to look back and see, how far have you evolved? What words are the same and what words might be different? So here we go. All right, here is the Mad Lib. I'm going to read mine right in front of me. Hey there, I'm Lara Salyer. I'm a physician peer mentor with 6 years of experience helping women in medicine build a membership practice that rewards them with sustainable income and time freedom to do what they love. I'm also a Midwest mom of 3, author, craft addict, and magic seeker. I specialize in leveraging flow neuroscience to help you clear the calendar from chaos and create space to flourish. I believe that when women learn to step into their highest creative power, honoring their boundaries, they can utilize all of their healing skills. And we are able to offer greater transformational healing for our patients and communities. Because when you can open your email without cringing or take vacations without guilt and get paid for being you, you unlock the kind of life that you've been craving. This work matters to me because I was a burned out family physician that resigned 9 years ago. My definition of healthcare and healing no longer matched the environment that I was practicing in. So I decided to reinvent a new model that provided sustainable income and allowed room for all the different modalities that I use in my functional and integrative practice. This is a practice I wanted to grow with my curiosities. And then friends and colleagues started to notice, and I wanted to teach them how to do the exact same thing. I know how overwhelming and isolating it can feel to do it alone. My services are designed to feel like a cozy coffee date with girlfriends that empower, excite, and collaborate with each other. It's a place where we don't chase perfection, we attract alignment, joy, and glee. So stick around and let's explore how tiny shifts can catalyze immense impact. That's it. So whatever words I have in there that don't resonate with you, take it out, put yours in. You've got the 90-second Mad Lib, and you can do this. I challenge all of you to explore. And I'd love to hear, drop a comment below or share this with a colleague. I'd love for you to let me know what your 90-second bio would say. How would you reinvent yourself and reintroduce yourself? I'm excited to meet you. And here's the catalyst question. As we end each episode, I like to give a reflection so that you can take something away and let it marinate on your next walk or when you're folding laundry. If someone brand new landed on your website or in your social media space today, would they meet the you of today, or is it a ghost, a Xerox copy of the you several years ago? And what is the difference? Think about that and think how transformational that can be as you evolve and grow, as medicine evolves and grows, and you can incorporate whatever healing modalities are resonating with you. That's what we're here to do, is to shine as our authentic self and create healing in others with our unique set of skills. I would love to talk to you. If you're looking for some brainstorming and you'd like some next steps, my calendar is open for brainstorming sessions. I'll put the link in the bio. And thank you for coloring outside the lines with me. Keep practicing that 6th vital sign of creativity, because you never know where it will lead you, but it's always good. Till next week, have a great day. Thanks for listening to The Catalyst Way, where we clear the chaos and create space to flourish in medicine and life. If today's episode lit a spark in you, your next step is to go take the Catalyst Archetype quiz. It's fun, free, and freakishly accurate. Go to drlarasalyer.com/create. In less than 5 minutes, you'll uncover your burnout risk, your creative strengths, and work rhythms that energize you. Because it's not about finding a perfect plan, but rather flowing with the one that fits you. Go to drlarasalyer.com/create. And remember, teeny shifts create massive impact. So keep coloring outside those lines.